So this is a video about art as medicine. Art is one of the most powerful energies on this planet and one of the most undermined, and there's no coincidence around that, is there? Imagine if we took away all the art. Imagine if we took away all the creativity, the film, television, music, dance, architecture, design, costumes, clothing, furniture, dance, theatre. Imagine what a sad world we'd live in. Yet society is like programs artists to not value themselves and not feel that they deserve to be paid or they're the last to be paid, and other people make money out of artists because they know where it's at. They know that art is actually, in creativity, the soul of being a human. It's one of the most powerful things we can do, and ironically people are jealous of artists in the same breath as going, oh, but you don't get paid anything. Yeah, it's just like the programming for that is really insane. So there's that. Yeah, people are jealous of the authentic and a creative expression of artists because it's so pure. But it's like of service. It's basically a gift. It's being of service and offering talents and skills to the collective. And it does deserve to be paid and valued. Yeah, so there's that. And then my experience of art as medicine is just, I mean, obviously I am an artist, and I've been practicing for 2 decades, but I'm going to share just my experience from the last years of being in New Zealand in the pandemic after being 10 years in Europe, and how it's a country that is incredibly talented and has a lot of talent. In fact, everybody's like low-key genius in New Zealand, but because of the systems and the programming, and it's deeply colonial, it's really oppressive. So then there has to be jealousy and tall poppy syndrome, where people like oppressing each other and competing and pushing each other down, and it's a zero-sum game, unlike other places I've seen, like bigger cities where there's a place for everybody, and it's a thriving context because there's like just a lot going on. And yeah, so I have done a lot of really powerful projects and cool things back in New Zealand, but some of them got really tampered with in the pandemic, and but I am multidisciplinary, so I was able to lean more into video and film and writing during the nasty pandemic years where performance was basically impossible because we couldn't gather or be in community sharing, and we weren't even allowed to be in studio making in some parts of it. Yeah, so it was quite traumatic going through that and losing my show, which was like fully funded, and I spent 2 years on it. But I published a book, and I did film, and so I did come through and run a festival and do some pretty amazing things. But when I came out the other side, I felt so traumatized by the way people behaved in the pandemic, but also the systems and how they just like threw artists under the bus in New Zealand, and put all the costs on the artists. And I got to see all the nasty sides of the performing arts and how theatres, you're the product, but you're treated like the consumer, and expected to pay for everything, and like everything just landed on the artists. And with just no care whatsoever. even though we were given a lot of money by the government to be in lockdowns and just be quiet and stay, which, you know, I'm super grateful for, because I would prefer to have my parents alive than my art industry now struggling to recover. Yeah, that's where I stand with that. But it was a sacrifice, and one that I was willing to make at the time, but it doesn't take away from the fact that the artist got gaslit, and it has been really, really hard and painful to recover from. So I was also dealing with, like the jealousy and hobbies, so just the community was a nightmare as well. And anyway, not all of it, because a lot of people are super awesome, and I have felt really supported and been given a lot of opportunities, and I'm super grateful for all of that. But like I felt like a lot of the opportunities I've been given in the last bit since I've been in New Zealand have been thwarted, like every step of the way, and I've had to really fight for everything, and like pushed back with every opportunity and undermined in some form of way. But I came through on top each time, because I'm a Scorpio with Aries stellium. Whatever. Just regardless of astrology, I just, have resilience. Maybe it's my ancestors, I don't know. But anyway, so I then came out and I just, even though I was like, I never want to do performance again, it's fucking traumatic, it's been horrible, like, I'll just do film and writing. And my astrologer was also encouraging me to do that, because she said it was safer for me. But I really missed performance, and it's embodied. So I just got in the studio and I used the solo called Alien to recover. And I used it as medicine, and I spent a year and a half on it in the studio. I had no idea whether I was even going to get to the stage. I just had actually given up on getting a show through to stage, having not been able to do that with even funded shows. And I just, I recovered. I rehabilitated myself. Because we hold trauma in our bodies, and using dance and performance for a year and a half helped me recover and rehabilitate and release the trauma. And then I came through with a really strong piece, which people loved, called Alien, which was, talking about the alien within us all, how we were alienated and how we alienate each other, and our difference. And I was doing it from a personal perspective, but allowing it to be abstract and open enough for other people to resonate with in their own alien selves. And so that solo Alien I did around New Zealand and then in New York, and then I moved to another solo called Intense, and been working on that all year. And the same thing, like, it's like I've been spending years on these group shows and these group projects that are funded, and it was just a nightmare. And then I go back to my solo practice, and it's like super strong, and it's not in any way sort of like filtered or watered down. And I'm I don't need funding. I can just go in the fucking studio and make like a musician does, and be really in my body, and music and dance and performance and symbolism and objects and the voice are all like very healing to work with. So, and then sharing that with audiences who resonate, all of it is like super healing. So it was medicine for me and for the audiences. And that is just one of many examples, but it's my rehabilitation story from the trauma of the pandemic and losing. It's really, really hard to get funding. So to lose a show like that after 2 years working on it was pretty full on. But it did really well on film. And then like my film career was like kind of activated properly. But working through the body to release the trauma in a solo was incredibly powerful and translated to audiences in a really succinct way as well. And I'm grateful to have those gifts and the courage to just keep stepping and moving through, and just having the support of friends who would come and give me feedback, and the community for coming to shows and for being programmed. I'm like super grateful that that's happened. It's really interesting that I keep getting programmed with the solos over anything else. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe the intensity of them is resonating on the other side of this crazy ass time, and like we're going to go through more craziness the like next years. So yeah, that's my sharing around art as medicine for today. But it's always medicine, it always is, always will be. And yeah, I really advocate for artists being paid properly. Yeah, just like any other skill or job or industry or profession or expertise, it deserves and is worthy of being properly paid.